Welcome back to BNN 247, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting live every Sunday at 3:30 p.m. Today, again, we want to talk about a subject that's been around for a very short time: artificial intelligence. I mean, this is something that we we don't really see it. We don't really know that we need to be involved with this to a level that's unheard of. This stuff is so technical. It is something that you and I both know will eventually take over what we are doing here in America. The latest that I've heard is that TikTok has been bought by a company out of Austin, Texas, along with a couple of three companies bought it. That is something that's very important because now you're talking about having a U.S. TikTok and a Chinese TikTok, and I don't know how we're gonna make the difference between the two. But the end game in artificial intelligence is that you are no longer needed. That's what it boils down to. We are no longer needed as a person or human being, a real person sitting at a desk in a job doing the work that the computer can do as well. So it's going to put us in a position where we going to have to upgrade our skills to a certain level that's going to put us ahead of this trend that's coming. And Lord help the people that don't get acclimated to this type of technology that's coming our way. I want to welcome our TikTok viewers. We're on TikTok Live, BNN 247. And I'm going to try and go back and forth between my main show and TikTok and voice the comments that you may have here in TikTok on the live show today. So I want to thank you all for joining me in this presentation of artificial intelligence. There's a young lady that's due to be on our show today. We hope that she's available. We hope that she make it. She's a busy woman, and I know that there are things going on in everybody's life. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about what's going on in America before we get deep into artificial intelligence. So right now, we had the Epstein files released a day or two ago, maybe two and a half, 3 days ago. I don't know why every day, every time I go online, I get this call at 3:30 p.m. I look forward to doing this show, and that's what I'm trying to do. I hope that the information that I'm going to bring to you is something that you can use, and this is how it works. You know, we are all human, and there are things that's going on, and we have to deal with those things as they appear. But like I said, the Epstein files have just got released, and we're looking forward to finding out more about what's going on with the Epstein files. Technically, I don't care about those files at all because whatever it is, it's unbelievable. This must be a very important call. So give me a second. Yes, I'm doing my show. All right. That was so funny. Anyways, to talk about AI, you should know core concepts like machine learning, like deep learning, like neutral networks, plus key applications areas like natural language processing, NLP, and computer vision. All these new words and combination of words that are coming out with AI, and it's expected for us to learn these words and be prepared to do whatever necessary to stay abreast and ahead of what's happening out here in America. We already know that Amazon has scheduled, I don't know if they did it already, but I know they were scheduled to lay off about 1,400 people. And that's a lot of jobs that's going away. And if you look at some of the videos about the new technology coming to these type of distribution centers, you'll see why Amazon is deciding to automate these facilities. And not only Amazon is doing it, Tesla's doing it. The major big major companies that are here in America, you can see it. You can see it evolving because it's so easy for them to replace a human being with a machine when the machine don't require life insurance or health insurance, doesn't require FICA taxes, doesn't require any of those things that the employee has to pay for a human being when they're on the job. So if your company has the capability to lay people off and replace them with machines, you can rest assured that that is what they will probably do. Hopefully the Epstein files will reveal the information that people are asking for, and we'll be able to go from there. This facial recognition that we have to deal with is happening all over. It's hard to go to the store without being videotaped somewhere on that road or even in that store, because it's in the store, it's on the road, it's almost everywhere you go, there's a camera looking at you. Another big issue going on in America that we have to pay attention to is what's happening between the U.S. and Venezuela. From what I understand, we've taken the third tanker in international waters from Venezuela. So why are we so determined to beat them down or be bullies to Venezuela? Because that's what it seemed like. We're just being a bully on the international water circuit. We're shooting boats out of the water, and now we're taking other people's property because something is going on that we don't like in Venezuela. So we have not defined a very specific reason why we are doing what we're doing with Venezuela. What is the particulars of what is happening with that country? I mean, there should not be, I don't know. I'm not seeing it. I don't know if you see it. If you do, please let me know that this is what's happening in Venezuela, because I don't see the purpose of how we are doing work in Venezuela right now. That is something that's so outside of what this country needs to be doing. Not only is going to Venezuela a problem, we see what's happening here in our country. Now, the latest I've heard is the ICE agents are going after the Somalians, and they are up in Minnesota wreaking havoc. And not only does it affect the community, because if people are out there and they're not being able to go shopping or go to restaurants or go do this or go do that without thinking that there's something looming over their head and they may get picked up, even if you're an American citizen and if you look like a Somali and somebody that they want to pick up, they're going to pick you up. Now, think about it. They went from Hispanics and other people that were coming across the borders. They did thousands and thousands of them, and they deported as hundreds and hundreds of those people all over the world. They got them out of this country. Okay, whoopie-doo. Everybody that you deported was not a criminal, but the majority of the people that you deported didn't have U.S. citizenship, so maybe it was legitimate of what you did. So it happens. Lynette, nice to see you. Elizabeth, good to see you. Mitchell, nice to see you. These are people on TikTok coming in. EV, Sandy, good to see you. Gork, Charles, thank you so much for joining in on BNN 247. Nice to see you, Seven. Miss Chocolate, thank you. Pigeon 1238, thank you. T Ford, Robert, a lot of people coming in right now. So thank you all for coming back into BNN 247 to see what we're going to talk about today. The subject matter is about artificial intelligence, and hopefully we'll be able to go deeper and deeper and deeper into what's happening with artificial intelligence and how will it affect you and I in the near future. It's already affecting us. If you go to the store right now, you have just about as many self-checkout lanes as you do cashiers. And normally it's almost like they're forcing us or driving us to go to the self-checkout lane. They're making it so inconvenient to deal with a person at the moment you walk out or you're trying to get out the store. You know, sometimes you go ahead and use the quick checkout because you don't have the time to stand there in the line and wait for them to do what they do. And other times you go ahead and wait. No matter what, though, in most cases, I'm going to do my wait. I'm going to wait until that cashier is available so I can check my stuff out. Because, I mean, what's the point of us? You walk in the store, you grab your cart, you go through the store and you pick up things in the store that you like and you place it in your basket. You working now. You at your job. Your job is to be a shopper. So now you've gotten what you want. You go ahead up to the cashier. Now it's time for you to take the item out of the basket, put it on the conveyor belt, and let them scan it and put it in a bag. And once they put it in a bag, you put it in your cart. So you've moved that item 1, 2, 3 times already, and you ain't even left the store. The same item, you've moved it 3 times. Then 4 times by the time you get out to your car, and then 5 times when you take it out of your car into your house, and then 6 times when you unbag it and place it into your ever storage place you want to store it. So you've touched that one item 6 times, and I think if you bought 40 items, you touched all 40 items at least 6 times when you got to your house. So that's quite a bit of movement for your product. And you're moving your product like that because of AI. If you didn't have to do all that, and what they're driving you to do, though, I'm sorry, I went the wrong way. What they're driving you to do now, you touching that item 3 times before you get to the cashier. You're the one scanning the item at the self-checkout. That's 4 times. You're the one bagging the item. That's 5 times. You're the one doing all this work. That's the work of the people that used to work at that place. Now, when you're working at a place like that, and you're having to do all the work yourself before the stuff moves out, then what kind of operation is this when it comes to AI? Or am I becoming the machine, or am I allowing the machine to do everything? You don't have to do it if you don't want to, though. You got people picking your own groceries for you, delivering those to your house, and then all you have to do is get it off the porch. Or you have people picking your groceries for you, and then all you do is pull up in a slot and they bring it out to your car. There's so many ways to make it easy for you. You got people coming to your house that'll do your laundry. You got people coming to your house that'll do any service that you need done without you ever lifting a finger other than to contact them and have them do the work that you need done. So artificial intelligence is something that you better be careful with. Just like when the cell phones came out, you notice how people gradually became addicted to a cell phone because it was so convenient for you to find all this information on this little machine that you can hold in your hand. And right now, it's so much information in that little machine, you really don't use two-thirds of that information on that machine. It's so much on there. This is artificial intelligence. And while you're walking around with this item, it's listening to your conversations. It's listening to what you have to say to anyone or anybody. So what are you going to do about this type of stuff? What are you going to do? What are you going to do when all of this no longer requires you to do anything but to look at your screen? The screen is so smart, it can pick up your eye movement. It can pick up your facial recognition. Right now, some phones are set up, most phones are set up where all you have to do is look at it and it'll open up for you because it is recognizing your face. It's recognizing your voice. It's recognizing your habits. It's doing quite a few things. One of the things that I really want you to understand is that algorithms have a lot to do with this type of change in our culture in America. Now, algorithms are something that we have to understand what they are. And what I want to do is go to a place where I can tell you exactly what algorithms are. This is something that you may need to know. Algorithms. There we go. What are algorithms? This is something that we need to know in order to first start our first understanding of artificial intelligence. And just so you know, I'm not James and David and Shalon. I'm not an Edward. I'm not a specialist in artificial intelligence, but I am smart enough to know that it is a problem for us as regular human beings who have to go to work every day. And if we don't get ahead of the game and try and be right on the curve when AI comes towards our shop or our operation or our job, then we are going to be the ones that are going to be removed. And that's what I really would like to avoid by giving you this information so you got an opportunity to start your research and your preparation prior to your company doing the research and preparation and implementation. Because once they start to implement, and if you ain't ready at that time, then you are the ones who will suffer. You will suffer. You are the ones who will lose your job. And when you lose your job, and most of the companies are putting AI in the form that you are working in right now, then it's going to be difficult for you to get back in there. So if you have not been to school in a while, take an online course, go to YouTube, go somewhere and find out how to get better with this artificial intelligence. Because I don't know how to tell you how important this is or how strong this whole process is going to be when you're not ready. So you're going to have to get ready, and that's not going to be easy for you. I mean, the classes are available. There are some free classes, and there are some that you have to pay for. The free ones that I know of are being done by this individual called that I know of Her name is Tiffany Bradfield. She holds an MBA and she does AI education and workforce training. And she's the director she's a certified workforce development director. And that's what she does. Robert, nice to see you. Jim, Jeff, thank you all for coming. She has a master's in business administration and a bachelor's in organizational administration. She trains on a 6-week AI essential program, and it's available for direct delivery or as a licensed curriculum for organizations. Licensing agreement include all training material, customized ebooks, workbooks, journals, and AI application guides. So what I'm trying to do is give you a way up instead of a way to stay where you are. You have to know what's happening out here. So I just went down to the specialist information, and what I'm going to do at the end of the show, if I don't be able to get her on the show today, is provide you with her information so you can go and talk to her and find out what you can do to improve who you are on your job, or improve your qualifications to stay on your job. When AI is taking a sweep across the country, and the more computers these owners think they can get in, the better off they think they'll be. And if it's a big company, you can rest assured that these things are coming. They're coming. Algorithms is a finite, step-by-step set of instructions or rules designed to solve a specific problem or perform a specific computation. Taking inputs and producing output, like a receipt for a computer to process data for tasks, from sorting to AI decisions. Key types include sorting algorithms, searching algorithms, graphic algorithms, and specialized ones for string and machine learning. The purpose is to automate processes, improve efficiency, and handle complex calculations of data, transformation systematically. So algorithms are the first part that you want to know. If your job is a repetitious job and it does the same thing over and over and over again, you can rest assured that there is an AI program that can do what you're doing. And because it's a repetitious job, it's easy for for a computer to learn what you do and for them to program what you're doing. It's a precise, finite sequence of instructions for problem solving. So what are you doing in your job that's precise and is finite, and where they can set up a finite sequence of instructions to perform your job? And they come to your job saying, all right, we need to outline exactly what you do here so we can use this to develop a computer program. What do you think that means? That means that they're fixing to replace you with that computer program. So we have to be ahead of the game when they start to come our way and say certain things to us, because they don't really know they know your job, but they don't know your job. And it's up to you to make sure that you're a valuable asset to any of these companies where you work. Some core concepts for artificial intelligence is machines stimulating human intelligence. So machines simulating human intelligence. So if a machine can sit there and mark everything you do, move their hand just like you do, the artificial hand just like you move your hand, move the lips just like you move your lips, walk around just like you walk around. That machine can do everything needed to do 24 hours a day, and you can only do it 8 hours a day. So why would they not replace you if you can only do this job 8 hours a day when a machine can work around the clock? I mean, that's just what it all boils down to. If that machine can work around the clock, whose fault is it that they are going with AI rather than a human being? Do you blame your employer for turning your position into an AI position? Maybe it's time for an AI position to take your job. But if you're not preparing yourself, you know, that's where the problem is. I really do feel pretty sorry for the generations coming up after me. There's the next two generations going to catch hell trying to get themselves out of the marginalized pay into a career that gives you money to help you support your family. Now, if you don't know some of these things, that's what this boils down to. You got to be able to support your family. And in order for you to support your family, you're going to have to know how to deal with this society as it evolves into the next level. And it is evolving into the next level, whether you help it evolve or not. Whether you help your position get better or not, it's going to evolve in a way where your job may become obsolete in the next year or two. And by your job becoming obsolete, that puts you in a bad situation. If you got mouths to feed and you got places, you got to have your family in a house somewhere. You are losing if you're not getting ahead of the game with this artificial intelligence. Everything is going to artificial intelligence. You drive down the road on a toll road, they take pictures of you driving the car as well as taking a picture of your license plate. You can be going 120 miles an hour and they get just a clear picture as they need to send you a bill. That is the technology that's going on right now. And not only are they doing your car, they're doing 99,000 other cars a week. I mean, so many cars pass through these toll roads every single day that it's unbelievable. And they are able to process that amount of information without a high margin of error. They do this by the machines that they use. Now, I don't know if you saw the movie about the machines with Sean Penn, where the trucks and the cash registers and the gas pumps and everything that could go automated went automated. That was 20 years ago, 25 years ago that movie came out. And now here it is today. This is where we are. We're at that point where these machines can do everything that you do. I say 90% of what you do in America right now. Other countries have already outpaced us on what they have these pieces of equipment doing. That is the problem. The machines learn. All right, you got AI. Now we're talking ML. The machines are learning. AI subsets where systems learn from data without explicit programming. In other words, you don't have to sit there and train the machine step by step. The machine learns and gets better at what it's doing from watching you, from seeing or hearing or being programmed by what you do. I don't know what you think when you're sitting there using that computer, or I don't know what you think when you're having a conversation with someone. Your phone is listening. You have Siri, you have Alexa, and now you got some other thing from Google Smart. Sometimes I'm sitting here doing my work and I say something and the computer will say, well, or what did you say? It's almost like they know exactly what you're talking about all the time, and they're recording what you're saying all the time. And I think it's going to get to a point where if you say anything around anybody with a cell phone, it is going to be captured, and you are not going to be able to stop it. That's where the problem lies. You're not going to be able to stop this system from doing the things that it does. For instance, right now, a police officer can tell you not to be filming him and back up, but you still can film. You don't have to actively film to be filming. You don't have to actively interfere with them to get the message that you need. You know, they have eyeglasses right now that will record everything that's happening in front of you, and the person will never know that you're looking at them through a camera with a camera on your eyes. You know, those glasses might cost $200-300 now, but I guarantee you they're going to come out with some that's going to cost $24.99, and you're going to be able to get you a pair of glasses plus shipping and handling, of course. So machine learning, this is the subset where systems learn from data without explicit programming. That means they're learning from watching and learning from listening. They know what you do. It goes another step. It gets deeper. It's deeper than this. They got deep learning. So look at it this way. We got artificial intelligence where machines simulate human intelligence. They learn problem solving. Then you got machine learning, which AI subset where systems learn from data without explicit programming. And now we're at a level where it is deep learning. Deep learning is something a lot. Let me just tell you what it is. Deep learning, DL, is machine learning using multi-layered neutral networks for complex patterns. Multi-layered neutral networks for complex patterns. That is a mouthful. So when they say multi-layered, that means they're looking at things from multiple angles, and they're deciphering information from multiple angles to learn how this process works. In other words, they may have 5 cameras looking at one thing, which is multi-layers, multi-views, same thing, figuring out what's happening with this piece of equipment, figuring out how to deal with this piece of equipment or this process. So multi-layered, using cameras as an example. Neutral networks. In other words, these cameras record everything. It doesn't matter what they record. It's a neutral network. So whatever is moving or whatever's happening in the area of this camera is recording it from multiple angles. If you pull up to a stoplight in any city, any major city with a stoplight, you're probably being filmed from multiple angles, and you got somebody sitting at a controller that can zero in on you sitting in that car and see what you're doing, and if necessary, send a police after you. You know, this is some stuff that's so heavy right now. I don't even think I'm scratching the surface on what's actually happening with artificial intelligence. I'm just so afraid that by the time our people, Black people, get to the level where they know what this stuff is about and what it does, it's going to be too late. And we don't need to make it too late. We don't need to be too late on this, because this is something that we will have to learn. We have to learn this stuff. We have to be ahead. The purpose of BNN 247 is just what we're doing right now, is to bring information that won't necessarily make it to our people, so they can take this information and better themselves in the technology that's coming our way. It's coming. And I can't stress the fact enough that we're already struggling. We're already living paycheck to paycheck. When these machines start to take over and start to come in real fast, then what are we going to do? How are we going to move from taking instructions from a supervisor and implementing it to regulated to nothing, regulated to not having a responsibility at all? Everybody can't sit there and watch the computer. If they bringing in computers, they're not gonna need everybody to sit there and do the job that they've been doing. The computers are going to be doing your job. They're going to be doing the things that you at one point in time was getting paid for. Now they don't have to pay anything. They don't have to worry about sick time. They don't have to worry about you calling in. They got a machine doing the job. Now, if you haven't toured a manufacturing plant, I highly recommend that you do, because there are some things at that plant that you should see, and you'll get a better concept of where America is going. Now, our president's talking about bringing jobs back to America. In reality, what he's saying is he's bringing the machines back to America so the machines can do the work, because you're not going to find too many people to get out there and do some of the things that America wants done for the price they want to pay. So because the price that they want to pay don't match the skill level that you have, you are probably not going to accept many positions that's going to be out there available for you. So what's next? The only thing that's next is you creating your own business, and making your own money and making your own choices, because ain't no other way you're going to get around being that super person for your family that you need to be. So artificial intelligence is a big deal. They simulate human intelligence. Machine learning is a system learned from our data without explicit program. In other words, they mimic movements, basic movements. And then you got deep learning is machine learning using multi-layered neural networks for complex patterns. Neural networks are basic programs that will take you into a facility, and in every station, this is the same thing that they do. This is the neural network. Everybody does the same thing at every station. It may be that one little simple task, but this is talking about complex patterns. Complex patterns. The word complex says it all. It means you're going to have to learn how to deal with multitasking at one time. And most humans cannot multitask. Everybody wants to say, I know how to multitask, but most people, 9 out of 10 people can only do one thing at one time. Matter of fact, 10 out of 10 people can only do one thing at one time. Can you multitask? If you can multitask, then you're above human. You must be part Martian, because there ain't nobody on this earth can do more than one thing at one time. And that's not unusual. That's just the way it is. You can't do more than one thing at one time. Now, your body, when it comes to body functions, you can walk and chew gum at the same time. But I mean, external things that you do, you can't do more than one thing at one time. One thing at one time. A computer, a robot, on the other hand, can do as many things as you can program into that thing under a complex pattern. So AI, ML, DL, which is using ML for multi-layered neural networks or complex patterns. So we got 3 levels right now that we're talking about our core AI concepts. Again, AI is machine learning. That's what it is. It's machine learning. That's the bottom line. It's machine learning. artificial intelligence. And it's learning based on what you do every day. And if you continue to ignore the trends that are coming your way, then you end up suffering from the trends that are coming your way. I'm not here to force you out of a job or force you to leave your job. I'm here to give you information where you have choices for your job if you have a job, if you're working. So AI, ML, DL, and now you have neutral network. Neutral network is algorithms mimicking the brain to find patterns in data. So how you gonna mimic the brain? You got to read the brain in order to mimic the brain. But according to this, what I'm reading here, it's saying that AI can mimic the brain. In other words, everything you do, AI is watching you and it's mimicking every single thing you do. If I'm doing this right here with my hand, AI, the robot can see me doing this and it can mimic this. It is the patterns that they learn from watching what we do. Algorithms mimicking the brain to find patterns in data. So what do? If I do the same thing all the time, if I cut my steak the same way all the time, if I clap my hands the same way all the time, the computer can understand repetition and it can understand particular things that you do on a regular basis the exact same way. Now, I know everybody out here listening have had issues or situations where you've had to deal with a robot. If you bought groceries in a supermarket lately, you've had not groceries. If you bought anything, you've been shopping for Christmas, you've had to deal with a robot sooner or later because the lines are long and they shut down all the registers so they can force you to use these machines. Everybody upgrading to these machines. And these machines can tell if you're putting an item in the bag that you're supposed to, because they'll tell you, item not in this bag. So we're not going to let you proceed until you put this item in this bag. Machines are taking over all of our processes that we used to do. So far, there's a few things left for us. I mean, they're driving trucks, machines are driving cars, machines are running warehouses, doing all the picking and pulling and stocking and storing. They're doing the logistics. They're loading trucks. They're doing all these things. They're operating forklifts. They're operating conveyor belts. Look at how luggage goes to an airport. You walk into an airport, you put that luggage on a belt, and it takes your luggage down a chute, and you don't see that luggage until you get where you're going. How do you think that conveyor belt knows what airplane to put your luggage on? That's artificial intelligence. And in 9 out of 10, you're gonna get your bag, but some cases your bag end up 1,000 miles away. You never know. But this is the type of technology we have to know and we have to learn. They do all these x-rays when you're going through the airport. You know what I'm talking about, Uncle T? Beverly, you know what I'm talking about? Michael, Charles, good to see y'all. It's so much going on in everything we do. I mean, you walk down the street, you go to the store, you see the traffic lights, you go through neighborhoods, everybody got a Ring doorbell. They all are recording every move you make. So you never know when you're on tape. So you have to know how you have to respond in public with all this stuff going on. You can't force people not to record you if you're in public. Now, if you own your own property, then of course you can tell them not to record on your own property. But if you're on a public sidewalk, they can record anything that's visible to the eye. They can't jump over your fence or put the camera over your fence or anything like that to see what's going on. But if it's a straight line view, if it's in sight, they can film it. And it's up to you to know how to deal with this artificial intelligence. When they get your information, what are you going to do? When you have instruments in your house telling you what time it is and what you need to be doing right now, then you're going somewhere because you are in a position to use this technology to your advantage. And that's what we should be doing. Start using AI. Figure out how it works. I mean, if you don't have Alexa, if you don't have Chat GPT, you should get these items and start training yourself on the way this technology is taking over. Do a little research. Learn one word about it a day. Algorithm. You know, we hear this word a lot, algorithms, but most of us don't know what that word means. Lance, BG, 45, algorithm has a definition. It has a definition. It's a set of rules or instructions for an AI, artificial intelligence, or intelligent instrument to follow. So algorithms are basic. It's a set of rules. It's like bylaws in any organization, or A, B, and C that you say, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. When we go into the store, that's your set of rules for your child. It's a set of rules that a machine has to follow. It's instructions. It allows AI to adapt to human ways. Now, how far do we want to let these machines go? How much adaptation are we willing to endure with these machines? Gloria, nice to see you. Applauser, good to see you. Pretty Belly, Pretty Belly, ain't that something? Duke, good to see you. Doris, nice to see you. Thank you all for coming into TikTok. Thank you all for being on my show on Sunday at 3:30. Every Sunday, we have a topic that's for your interest and trying to help you to understand and navigate what's happening in this world today. As you know, they did not release all of the Epstein files, but they did release quite a few. They still redacted everything with DT's name on it, and that's what people really are looking for. Good afternoon. Who is that? Andrea, darling. Good afternoon. Appreciate you. Connie. Connie. I don't know who that is, but thank you for joining. Hi. Thank you very much, Carl, for coming in. You know, Epstein he's been gone for a couple of years now. And he's still at the top of the list when it comes to what people want to know about this presidency. That had to be a Hugh Hefner operation going on another level. You know, Hugh Hefner it was wide open that this is what he was doing. He had a house full of women all the time, and he did what he did. And nobody really did anything about it, which it just baffles me that now when Epstein come along and do the same thing that Hugh Hefner did, then there's such a big major problem. And that big major problem is we got a lot of pedophiles in the White House. That's what the problem is. Or they in the White House or they have been in the White House. These people that are million and billionaires have problems with their sexuality and sex life. You know, you see what happened to P. Diddy? He got so much money and he got so much power and he lost. He's probably still got the money, but he doesn't have the power anymore. He's behind bars. That is not a good place to be. And, you know, the things you do, we catch up to you. You can't always be a deceitful person and expect to survive that way or to make it through life that way, you have to come correct with who you are and what you are. And if you don't come correct with what you need to do when it comes to artificial intelligence, you're going to get left behind, and you're going to be out of a job. You're going to be out of more than just a job. A whole lot of different things ain't going to happen for you because you will not have the skills that you need, Derek. Ronnie, I mean, you guys, I mean, Katrina, Seven, I can only tell you how important this is. And it's up to you to take yourself to a level that's going to be needed. You got to make yourself needed, Bimbo. Bimbo. Somebody named Bimbo on TikTok. Guy Butler, nice to see you. Users, nice to see you. The number guy, 7282. Good to see you. The East Wing Ballroom, I don't know what's happening with it, but you know and I know destroying that White House has been a thorn. It's been it's a hurtful sight and a not such a good feeling to see that this is happening to our White House. But he's putting his name on everything. He's now he has his name on the Kennedy Center, and there's a couple other things around DC that he's putting the name Trump on. The money that's being allocated to Ukraine, his son, or his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, is handling parts of that money. So it's so sad that everything just seems to have a connection back to the White House when it comes to billions of dollars being spent of taxpayers' money. And the federal government is supposed to be there for the people, but it seems like somewhere down the line we got it all twisted. We're not the ones it's working for. We are working to support the federal government. Now, how long have this been going on? When do we realize that the writing of what it says is incongruent communication? It's saying we're one thing, we do one thing, and the federal government does another thing, and it's supposed to be there for us, and we're the ones who direct it, but it's not that way. They're the ones who are directing what this country is going to do because they're making the decisions about the money that we put in there. You have no say-so if $90 billion go to Ukraine. You ain't got no say-so on that. The only thing your responsibility is to keep pouring money into the federal government so they can make decisions like the one going to Ukraine, or make decisions like that. What is it, $100 million? Oh, it's a $900 billion defense package. That's a lot of money. $900 billion defense package. All that dope. More dope than most of us will ever see. And they do that in a year, in 1 year. So we got AI, we got artificial intelligence, we got ML, we got machine learning, we got DL, D as in dog, deep learning, we got neutral network, then we got algorithm. There's some key AI applications and techniques. First, they have the natural, I think I hit the wrong button. First, they have the natural language processing, NLP. AI understanding and generating human language, chat box, translations, different language that the machine translates for you. This is something that we all, technology we all can get. We can wear it on our ears. We can put it on our phones. We can go anywhere in the world and say something in English and have it translated to any language we want to. That's a feature that most of us are familiar with on our phone. Then we have computer vision and interpreting and making sense of visual information, image videos. So we have computers now that can watch a video and make sense of what the video is saying. That's a very smart computer. They can process billions of items faster than humans. I'm just so worried and afraid that this is not going to work out well. It's not going to work out well. I don't know what's going to happen, but this is where we are, and this is what we do. So ain't nothing else we can do about it but get ourselves prepared to use it. People on TikTok, people on other platforms, I highly recommend that you get yourself trained under and learn something about AI. You don't have to spend any money to learn some basic stuff. And many cities like San Antonio offer free classes to bring you up to speed with AI. It makes you more marketable. It gives you an additional skill set for the future because that's when it's going to be needed. Now, I'm not saying that we're not going to need common skills, vocational skills. We're still going to need that, but we definitely going to need AI qualified people. And if you don't have that vocation that's in need right now, then what good are you when you don't have anything to bring to the table? You have to have something to bring to the table. Donald, you hear what I'm saying? Edward, you hear what I'm saying? You have to have something to bring to the table. That's where the problem is right now. We don't realize that they're not going to, you cannot expect, I'll just put it this way, you cannot expect your oppressor to give you the ladder to get you out of the hole that you're in. Why would your oppressor do that for you? Your oppressor won't do that for you. So why are you waiting on your oppressor to do it for you? Because it's not going to happen. What's going to happen is you're going to get left behind if you don't pick up on some of these key elements of change that's coming your way. You got to pick up. Do you think that change can hold me? The river is dried up and I'm free and awake. Okay. Oh, JM, let's not talk about that. We're not going to go down a religious trail. I ain't going to talk about him other than all praises to Allah. We're here to make friends, not to make the divide the Red Sea. We don't want to do that. I mean, key AI applications and techniques, learning the natural language process, the computer vision, reinforcement learning, learning through rewards and punishment. You can teach a computer through rewards and punishment. Ain't that something? I have no idea how you're going to punish an AI computer. When you're talking to your computer about what you want to do, can you believe that they understand you? When you call in this number and ask them to speak to somebody, well, but first I need to get this information cleared up before we start talking to a real person. Why is it that you got to go through a computer to get to the real person? Is it because most companies have reduced their workforce to the point where they don't have people like they used to lined up taking calls? They cut their staff in half and put an automated system in there to answer the basic questions, frequently asked questions. These computers can answer those questions. They can solve those frequent problems that may arise for a particular company. They can do all these things. And that is why you and I have to stay prepared. Predictive analytics. Your AI computers can use data to forecast future outcomes. Now, there was a movie out about that. They're predicting what your crimes you may commit. They're predicting what money you may spend. They're predicting how you may vote on a particular item. They're predicting everything about how we operate. They have certain predictions for the Black community, certain predictions for the Hispanic community, certain predictions for the white community. And you can best believe right now, when you apply race to these different artificial intelligence platforms, you will find that much of the information that's been uploaded to artificial intelligence does not reflect you. It's not for you and it's not written for you. And when you go in there and try to use it, you'll find out that they don't give a damn about you, and their information that they put in there about you is wrong. See, he who holds the history, he who writes the history, defines the future. Because when somebody reads that history, they're going to assume that this is what it really is. And that's been what happened to all of us. They wrote our history the way they wanted it to reflect, and they failed to tell the true stories. And then they took that history that they wrote and they forced it into the school system and forced it down every student's throat. And the worst part about it is that they took us from our own schools, our own barbershops, in our own communities, our own grocery stores in our own communities, and added us to an expanded region of access. In other words, integration, and screwed us up big time. Screwed us up to a point where we have to know better and do better on our own. Because if you're depending on the history that you've been taught, that your kids have been taught, and sometimes you can get into a discussion with your children and they are adamant about what they have been taught in school when you know that it's absolutely wrong. That's what's happening. They have token, basic units of text, words, subwords processed by these systems, by the large language models, AI trained on massive data like GPT, like Chat GPT. You can say, Chat GPT, write me a 30-page paper on auto mechanics, being a beginning auto mechanic. And Chat GPT will write that paper for you. So artificial intelligence is getting so advanced now where you can go through a university and use that to get your papers done, but the schools are so smart now that they're not accepting computer-generated paper, even though you have the capability to go out and ask one of these platforms to write this for you, and ain't nothing nobody can do about it. So if you don't have one of these systems on your computer right now, I highly recommend that you put something on there. MN, what was that? Dean, use Chat GPT if you don't use anything else. That's the basic one. This AI is something that you and I both know will be the end of many people. It will be the end of many jobs. It will be the end of many families because it is taking away what we have worked so hard to gain. And a college degree, like Donald Trump said in 2017, is no longer required to work in America or to work in the federal government. So what is that telling you? That stop focusing on that diploma, which you should get because it's nice to have, but also equally be focused on a skill set that cannot be duplicated by a computer. Learn something. I'm talking to the younger generation. Learn something that's different, something that cannot be taken from you. Because anything that a computer can do, rest assured, it will be doing it in the next 10 years. You gonna be out of a job unless you're that chosen one to be sitting there to monitor all the computers doing tech. I highly recommend that you prepare yourself for what's coming because you haven't had it hard yet, but it's gonna get hard. It's gonna get hard for the people on my level and below the upper middle class. It's going to be hard because there's going to be very little resources or recourse other than a hard labor job. And hard labor ain't breaking big rocks into little ones anymore. Hard labor is cooking French fries at Whataburger. That's going to be hard labor. And nobody wants it. Should blacks own businesses in Indians and Asians communities? Hell to the yeah. You're right, troll. I'm telling you, you're right 100%, but we won't do it. The only thing we need to do now is get them out of our neighborhood. They're in our neighborhood so deep, they got roots deeper than ours because they've been there for 40 and 50 years. In my little hometown of Inverness, Mississippi, there was Jim G, Chinaman, Wu, Chinaman, Hans, Chinaman, and Wayne, Chinaman. 4 Chinese stores back to back to back to back in my hometown of less than 2,000 black people. Why did they have all the stores? I have yet to figure out how they got there. They were there when I started to recognize it. They were already there. So they had to be there before 1960. 1960. They had to be there before 1960. They've been there a long time. And Pawn still making money. Do the Asians owners help out the black communities they serve? And in my opinion, hell to the no, they do not. I have not seen an Asian community participate on anything that a black community is doing. Not one time. All the money that we've ever given to these corner stores, these mom and pop Oriental stores, they nickel and dime us to death. And they take that money and they send it back to their country, but they do not allow a dime of their money to circulate back into the black community. They don't give I've never known them to give a penny back. Never. All they do is take. That's what they do. They take our money, they take our will to own our own stuff. They've made it so difficult for us to own anything, and we've fell right into that trap. We got to own our own business. We got to own our own land. We got to be able to get that done some kind of way, regardless of what they're doing to us, Sandra. We got to do something. And what we're doing right now is just not working. Every agenda, every lead, every future movement we've ever had has been sabotaged and neutralized. Everything we've ever tried, sabotaged and neutralized. Even if there's a black organization in existence today, it is not a threat to the federal government or the state government, so they still do what they want to do. We've been doing stuff forever, and we still are treated a certain way. And we're treated that way because we have not found out who we really are. We still think our history started at the end of the Civil War, and they've kept us too busy and too occupied to find out what's before what happened? Where were we before the Civil War? All of us didn't come from Africa. Many of us was right here on this land. They took it. Tell me a place where these people, the Caucasus people, have been that they didn't create havoc and take over the land and write the history of that land. Everywhere they've been. You can just look across the world and you'll see it. I don't have to sit here and identify it. It's everywhere you look. Not only here in America, all over the country, DD. Everywhere. David, everywhere. Patricia, Carolyn, everywhere. This is something that we have to deal with, and it's all right. It's not all right. If you don't know what whooping cough is, you should learn what whooping cough is. Right now in America, there are over 26,000 cases of whooping cough. At one time, whooping cough had been pretty much put away. But since this administration came in and changed the requirement for many of those vaccines, whooping cough is on the rise. But for this country to have 26,000 cases of whooping cough, that's a damn shame. We had almost eradicated that disease, but now it's coming back. I guess COVID didn't kill enough people, excuse my language, didn't unalive enough people. It's our job to pay attention to what's happening in America and to do something rather than just know about it. We got to do something. I'm telling you, if you are in the job market, start looking at artificial intelligence. These people in DC, they're playing monster politics. Monster politics. They're fighting for every inch they can get. They're going into states and asking them to change their districts and redesign their districts so they can win elections. They're rigging things. They're doing every single thing you can think of. And this person in charge of this entire country has got his finger on the trigger. And it's scary. And I think that is the reason why most of the people are afraid to do anything negative or to say anything. Even the reporters, they get dogged and drugged across the coals and put away like a wet horse. You know, they get treated bad, really bad. When you call a reporter Miss Piggy, that's so disrespectful. When you tell a reporter that your whole organization is stupid, that's disrespectful. When you treat a president the way you treated the Ukraine president, that's disrespectful. You gotta be a sociable person, a person that's righteous, and some things just are not righteous. Some things just are not righteous. Thank you all for being part of BNN 247. This is the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting live from a Black perspective. I see somebody saying hummus, and yo, I don't know what you're talking about, partner. Thank you for saying that anyway, for saying something. This is, like I say, this is the Black News Network. Thank you so much. I want you to have a great day today and a